Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is an episode 159. In today's episode, we're gonna go deep, and we're gonna go deep into the understanding, do we really create our own reality? How do we shift our quantum energy? How do we shift the timelines? And what will be the outcomes of it? And when do we know that we have shifted timelines and what comes after that? I know many of you who are listening to me and have been connecting to me through, whether it's through calls or our workshops or our retreats, you do all the inner work and then you wonder, when does it start to change? When does it happen? What am I doing here? Who am I? If I am the one who is creating the reality, why I don't see the reality I want to see? So we're gonna go dive into many of these things. Sorry for a little delay that we didn't have one of the episodes. We just ended our Cyprus retreat. And I will speak about this at the end of the podcast, but I can say that this was absolutely beyond, I can say in a certain ways that it was an advanced group. And we did go a lot more deeper within certain things that we have done on the first retreats. It doesn't mean that I always design the retreat based on the energy, and that's what I'm going to talk about it. I always trust the divine and the quantum field or the energy that tells me how far we can go. Because the idea is not to overwhelm you. The idea is not to put you in a situation where you don't know what to do anymore because your physical body is not ready for it. But the quantum field always speaks. There's always an information over there. And many of you who were on a retreat were able to see how field has information and how we can tap into that information. I will speak about a little bit more in depth about it at the end of the podcast, those who are interested to know what happened over there. But I can say that the universe was in alignment with us. On the first day, when we had our first activation, we had a strong thunderstorm just above us. And it was exactly on the time we had activation. So the universe came along and said, I give you that electricity to show you who you are and what the inner union is. And of course, exactly when we ended our retreat, we had 5.5 magnitude earthquake. Well, you can call it a coincidence, you can call it whatever, but I believe that when we tap into the energies, when we tap into the universe, when we connect to the field, the universe helps us. We had the same thing in Costa Rica where the universe was with us, that nature started to play with our energy. Their next retreat will be now in Bali. It is sold out, but Italy announcement will be in January. Those who wish to join in Italy 2026, June, plan your holidays around end of June. I don't have exact dates yet, but you can sign up to twinflameawakeningjourney.com for it, and you will receive the offers and the information as first. So far, they have gone out so quickly that I even haven't publicly announced them, so it's just been on the waiting list. Anyways, we go back into all of this, but let's dive into the timelines, the reality. And when we are on this twin flame path, everything is very intertwined with your soul, everything. So is the nature as we saw it here in Cyprus. And it's intertwined with your nervous system, your energy body, higher realms. And so we can often start to ask ourselves, okay, I have done this inner work and I have shifted something inside of me. So how long does it actually take for me to see the timeline shift? How long do I see it in my reality? How do I know I'm not imagining it and not making this up? And how do I know that the shift is real? So I'm going to go into all of this, and there is a lot of information, and we go step by step. But the first thing I want to tell you is, do we create our own reality? What do you think? When you close your eyes right now and you would think, am I creating my reality? And in a certain ways, I'm going to say yes, but not in a simplistic way of manifest anything simple, instantly. Meaning of you close your eyes and you say, I want to receive the message from my twin right now. I want this. We co-create our reality. And that's a very important part to remember. We don't control it with our mind. That's why I say on Twin Flame Journey, or whichever awakening journey you are at the moment, you will not figure this out with the mind. And mind games here are absolutely pointless. If you want to see the shift and change on your journey, it has to be energetic. You have to control, and like I said, it has many layers. It's not only of you doing one-time energy work, one time doing the Kundalini activation, one time doing Reiki. And again, I'm not going to say that this is a limiting. Sometimes for some people, one time works, really, and it changes their whole life. But what I mean is here that we don't control it with our mind, we influence it with our consciousness. And we are humans. I spoke about this in a previous episode. We are humans. We're gonna have situations in our life where we feel, oh, I don't know how is this one. Let's say your colleague is going to be mean to you, or something happens, something affects your mood, affects your nervous system. And if we don't come back to the awareness and consciousness, we again co-creating from there. So we create from our state and not from our wishes. It's a very important thing to remember. And that's why, and I'm going to say, for me, what I do and why I do is for you to find your truth. Maybe my truth might not be at all what you resonate, what you agree with, what goes with you. But maybe that ignites my words, my energy, my frequency, ignites your soul frequency of thinking, oh, but I feel it this way. This is my truth. We live in a world where we have a lot of information coming here, there, back and forth, everywhere. And we forget to listen ourselves, and that's where your consciousness and awareness comes into play. And why I talk about it, you'll be wondering, what is this to do with twin flames? I want my twin flame back. I don't care about consciousness. I don't care about this. But remember, you are the co-creation of your reality. And if you stay in the pain, you are the one who is creating that pain. I also will say that it's part of the process. So it's not like so simple that I'm going to say, oh, it's your fault. No. There is no fault here. I bring you a bigger perspective that maybe help you to shift today of realizing what you can do. So the reality responds to the frequency you are embodying it in the moment. Your nervous system, your beliefs, your emotional baseline, your openness to receiving. I go back to the receiving. I will have the episode about how to receive and why is it important to receive. And especially on Twin Flame Journey. That's why when we go in a Kundalini activation, I often say to you, you are here to receive. Because often we don't know how to receive, especially twin flames. We have that tendency to give. We have this tendency to please. We have all of these kind of things. But then we forget that in order to manifest this into reality, our body needs to be able to receive it. So you can say all the affirmation in the world. But if your body is still living in a fear, lack, or abandonment, you start to manifest more experiences that matches those states. And this is why Kundalini awakening starts to shake everything. It forces the inner frequency to rise, so the outer reality can't stay the same. Now, of course, you can wonder, well, my twin, for example, is with somebody else. My twin has chosen somebody else. My twin is not talking to me. All of these things, and you would think, Is it me who did that? No. No and yes, meaning of we cannot make someone to, even though they can feel that, we cannot make them to take a step. If they have chosen certain ways, this is their part. Because the life also co-creates with us. And there are bigger things in place, such as karma, soul contracts, divine timing, and the collective field. So you simply can't mind manifest your way to the out of the lessons your soul needs to learn. And this is, I just want to let you pause here for a moment. We come to this earth to learn, to experience. And sometimes, yes, it is unfair. I totally agree. But we are here again, like I said, the collective field. It's us who are creating it. On a retreat, we had a very beautiful soul who came from the last year, and within a year, what a difference. And what she was able to channel was incredible. And she also had that battle over there of thinking, like she had a talk with the divine. And she said, why do we have wars? Why do we have people suffering? Why do we have children suffering? And the divine really came to her of saying, it's in a sense of, for if you want to see the change, it starts from you. Stop projecting it outwards. And it was so beautiful what she said. If she ever gets the time, she can always leave the comment down here, what she channeled all of that through. But the idea is exactly that we have soul is coming here. Soul is coming to here maybe to learn what it feels to be separate. Because soul knows union. Soul knows oneness. So now we're coming to this tense 3D world of feeling what is the separation? Why we are limiting ourselves? Or, for example, the soul is going to learn, how can I feel compassion? How can I feel forgiveness? How can I feel this? And so these are the parts of it. How can I make this decision? How many of you, again, I'm going to give you one moment of thinking. How many of you have been thinking that you were, let's say, in a relationship or in a job position, and that moment you didn't understand it was all wrong? And when you stepped away, you realized, oh my God, why did I let this to happen to myself? But you did in order to have your lesson. And at one point when your soul realized it, you stepped away and you started to work. So, like I said, you can't mind manifest your way out of lessons that your soul must integrate. And that's where heartbreak comes in. That's where you learn about that separation is not real. That's where you're going to learn that inner union is the way to the path. And there are many things I really highly recommend for you today. Sit for a moment, connect, and say, what am I here to learn? Soul, tell me. You can do some of the Patreon meditation. I will be putting up a new meditation where you're going to hear your soul talking to you, channel through your soul. And you will find the answers why you came here. What is the lesson? Because especially on a twin flame journey, where your reality becomes a mirror, and the reality is a mirror, like your twin flame is your mirror to design to accelerate your evolution. So your choices matter. But so does the intelligence of the universe. So it's a dance. You would think of it. I had this morning channeling when I was thinking or channeling and sitting. And one of the things came from it because I know what we're going to tap into today. And then the message came from there. Maybe some of you were asking. So, I want my twin flame in my life right now. I will be so happy. All right. But it's not happening. It's not happening regardless how many meditations you do, regardless how many activations. You show up to my calls, you show up to the Patreon, you show up, and it's simply not happening. And then you will be wondering, well, it's not working for me. But now pause for a moment and think about it. If you are co-creating with the universe and something higher up there, maybe they're protecting you from something. Because having your twin flame back is one of the easiest ways. Just text your twin flame and say today, hey, I love you. I want to be with you. And let's say they're going to respond and say, I feel the same way, or so on. I know not all of you have the connection to way to communicate, like directly in 3D. But let's say in general, if you really want to see your twin flame today, you would find them. You would know where they work. You would know where you could show up. But why the universe haven't yet this happen? Because you might be receiving a version of them that is not in alignment with you and is actually going to harm you even more. Or you're going to have the relationship where you cannot be your authentic self and you constantly will be thinking, okay, how can I make this person happy? But it's not about ever making someone else happy. Whether we like it or not, the happiness, the love comes within a person itself. I tell you, you can be the most beautiful, the richest, the wealthiest, the most magnificent in the sense of, but if the person is not in a place of opening their heart and love, none of this matters. And that's why I talk about why it matters for you to become magnetic, because you start like the gratitude, the love, the magnetism starts to come and you will attract the most amazing people in your life. So don't think about it that, oh, I'll do all the work, but I don't see it. And I'm talking about this in the next now coming in the chapter. So you create your reality by how you respond, not by trying to control. So most people will try to manifest from tension. I need this outcome to feel safe. If I have this outcome, I feel safe. If my twin texts you, I know it's real. I tell you, this is one of the biggest trap. And that trap, I had it too. Meaning of, I remember I was thinking, okay, if my twin will tell you, let's say, I love you, or you're beautiful, or you're this, then it's true. My twin did that. And then I think a week or two went by and I go again, does he? Or is he just polite to me? Because I didn't love myself. So he could have showed me the whole freaking world and showed to me how much he loves me. I wouldn't believe that because I didn't love myself. And so that's why I say it's not about making other people to feel love, to see the love, to be like you change and shift in order for them. Yeah, it will happen. And I'll talk about this as well. But the real creation begins when you release the control and shift your internal state. When your frequency changes, your perception changes. And your perception is your reality. You start to literally see the possibilities you couldn't see before. And that was, again, another thing on our retreat, which we had now in Cyprus. We had one beautiful soul from Switzerland again. Those both came from Switzerland, where my journey began. And they were here a year ago and in a very different state than they were now. Like this is why I say, I love what I do for that reason. Because when I see that shift, that they start speaking from their soul, they are aligning, oh, it's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And what I mean is, he was also saying, oh, last year it was very different. People were more, let's say, there was more of a desperation or more of that feeling. And I said, true, every group is always different, but also you're different. So now you see the world differently. Your awareness sees it differently. And when you see it differently, your world is different. We also had this exercise over there where we went to the beach and we put the stones together, but in silence. And then later we discussed about it. And they were doing it in the groups. And what was very interesting that they couldn't talk to each other. And they were interpreting each other very differently. That's why I say our awareness sees things differently. I can give you, and that's the reason I love art. I love art is a very big part of me. I know we have many souls here who are artists and I love seeing, so keep sending me your art. I love how we see things differently, and art is a reflection of our inner world. We don't interpret things the same way. So what I'm trying to tell you that when we start to see things differently, because our perception changes everything of our inner world. That's why inner dance is a very powerful thing. Sometimes it's a very scary, but it just shows that there is something in your inner world that is still affecting you. So now coming back to the fact that when we shift and change, your way of seeing the world changes, shifts, and opportunities change and shift. Everything, whether you believe me or not. So that's why I say it's not a mind game. You can block the person, you can hold it back, you can do whatever you want to do. It will not change. So your reality starts to reorganize the moment you shift your inner truth. So think of this a little bit like this. When you heal your abandonment, all of a sudden you start feeling that people start to show up in your life. They come to you. When you start softening to your feminine of receiving, opportunities start to come on your way. And I believe me, if someone would have told me this, let's say 5 years ago, they would have said, hey B, just step backwards and just let things to come to you. I would have been, are you crazy? Who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to run this? Who's going to do this? I have a team. But when I tapped into the world of energies, the Kundalini, the connection, the seeing the quantum field, everything, I realized, oh, wait a minute. I didn't know how to receive. And that's also was a lesson from my twin flame. I didn't know how to receive. And I had to step into that. And then when I did that, everything changed. I would have never believed that. And if I'm totally honest, why am I doing this? Because I know that we can get ourselves into the place of feeling completely, I have to do it, I have to be in control. But in reality, it's the opposite. And when you trust, timing stops to feel like that it's not against you. And it starts to feel supportive. You start to realize, this couldn't happen because I was not ready for this. I couldn't go there because of that. So you're no longer pushing. You're no longer feeling that I need to get this now. And of course, when Kundalini rises inside of you, all the synchronicities will explode because your field becomes louder. And nothing outside changed first, but you did. And that's why when we have the Kundalini activations, how the synchronicities become wild, and you'll be feeling like you are in some sort of a simulation, and all of a sudden everything is like, oh, I understand this, I understand that. Oh, this number, that thing. Despite the fact me talking here, this number, that number, all of that. God help me with 717. This is on a retreat day. I had unread emails, 777. All of the messages, all of the timings were 717, this and that. And I just kept on laughing. I said, okay, all right, deliver me that, because my consciousness aren't able to translate. I have a feeling. I might know what it is, but I feel it also collective. It's our collective shift. And now it's coming to the fact, like I said before, it is not your fault or just only your creation. And this is a very important part. We do not create trauma, abuse, illness, or heartbreak. These experiences are not manifestation. They are intersections between personal evolutions and the lessons of the soul, and you alchemize them. You do not attract them consciously. It's not that somebody wakes up today and says, oh, I want to feel that pain. Yes, I want to feel this. I want that someone will do this to me. No. But there is a very big lesson today. So in a way of, if we're going to say, we create our reality through our vibration, our choices, our healing, and our alignment. But also, life, the soul, and the universe co-create the path with us. So like I said before, it is a dance. So you might be thinking, stomping your feet there and saying, but I'm doing everything right, but nothing is happening. It's not about control. It's a collaboration, meaning you start trusting the universe. That yes, let's say your twin has chosen somebody else, or your twin is not reaching out to you, or the job opportunity is not coming right now. You keep on getting rejected from it. You start to realize, there is something better in place, something bigger there, and I need to trust. And it's not about the force, it's about the resonance. It's not about the manifestation, it's evolution. So when we talk about the quantum field, information, and channeling, I stay for this in a very little part of it. But the quantum field, and you know that I love actually calling twin flames quantum couple. So it's the field of consciousness where every timeline exists, every possibility is there. Every identity, every emotion, every outcome is there. And information is non-local, meaning it's everywhere simultaneously. And I want to come to that fact of channeling. Everybody is capable. On a twin flame retreat, everybody we're seeing, they can channel. They have the capability. So, meaning of, when I tap into your frequency, I can see what you are the closest for. What is the informational field is telling to me. But now you can choose not to listen to that. You can choose a different one. And then later you'll be thinking, oh, but it didn't happen. Of course, very often, I know, and I don't like sharing this part because it makes people to feel that, oh, I book a call with her and then my twin comes back. It might be, but my idea is not to share this for that. My idea is why these things are happening after we tapping into channeling, because you're just tapping into the frequency of what can possibly manifest right now, right here. And when you do that, the outer world will respond to that. It's a very, very powerful thing. I find channeling extremely powerful. But the field of quantum field does not respond to a thought. It responds to coherence, the alignment between mind, emotion, nervous system, and soul. And when you enter into the state of coherence, you tune into yourself, to a different reality. Information that we receive, everything is frequency coded, and universe is a mathematical universe. From a quantum perspective, like I said, information equals vibration. Every emotion, every belief, every memory, every soul's blueprint exists in an informational frequency within the field. And this is why healing changes your life so quickly, and whether you believe it or not, and I'm not here to convince absolutely anybody. I'm not going to say to you that, oh, you step into the world of, let's say, Kundalini and channeling and energies, and you start seeing and your life starts to change. I have no, in a sense of, how do I say, personal interest of convincing anybody. But also my soul with this podcast have told me, but if you know the connection, why to hold it for yourself? And that's why I share it. How you would take that, how you would connect to that, that's totally up to you and your soul's journey. I also know that actually normally when my podcast reaches to you and some message reaches to you, means your soul was ready to. I love when people say, I have no idea how I ended up on your podcast, but I heard that one word and something inside of me became alive. So like I said, healing changes your life so quickly. Now I want to be careful a little bit with the word healing. Me, I see healing alchemizing. I don't see the healing of going over and over and over again the same wound. I see that, oh, we have something limiting belief here. Let's step into that and let's alchemize it. So when you shift the internal pattern, you literally change the information you broadcast to the field. So you stop sending out the messages, I'm unworthy, love is threat, receiving is unsafe, and the new energy starts to come. And so the fields start to reorganize around you and upgrades the information. And this is what is manifestation, my dears. Not wishful thinking, but going into the energetic data. I know I know many, when we hear about the manifestation and all these kind of things, and they say also on Twin Flame Journey, don't manifest your twin flame. Yes, because the mind manifestation does not work. Doesn't work. So it is what it is connected through the nervous system, through the tapping into, and I'm going to go into the channeling right now. So when we are channeling, we are accessing the information from the field. Just tell you, channeling is the translation of non-physical information into words, sensations, visions, or knowing. It's not that you are calling in beings above you. You're going into the consciousness to a bandwidth of information that already is present in that quantum field. I know it's a bit complicated. I will talk about this in depth. And many of you who have done the channelings, we normally do the Kundalini activation and channeling together. Why? Because I read the information of your field. Whatever is coming, I don't know. It's not that something I will be, okay, this person wants to know this, I'm going to give the answer. If there is no answer for that and there's something else, I tell you. And sometimes it can be disappointing because your mind is expecting, okay, I will have that answer. And then your mind doesn't get that answer and you feel, nothing is working out for me. But now we go back from here and realize, what did we receive before? Meaning of, universe is co-creating with you and the universe is giving you the information to tap into the fullest potential. So when you channel, it's not like you're leaving your body, you're expanding your field of awareness. So you're receiving it. So why Kundalini awakening often amplifies channeling, and we all start doing it. Again, we were able to see that. That's why when you have met really your true twin flame, your psychic abilities amplify. That's one of the signs, just to say, your psychic ability starts to amplify for the fact because the Kundalini got activated inside of you. They go in hand. I didn't know about this. I thought I'm absolutely crazy that I can hear things, I can see things, I can receive information. The same thing that the soul started telling me, you need to go to Cyprus. I'm like, what? What is this thing? But the Kundalini is the one that clears out the noise. And it burns all kind of tense information such as trauma, fear, ego resistance, and opens the body to receive higher frequency data. That's why, again, when you have the Kundalini activations, you can step into the universe, you can receive information that you didn't even know exists. So that's why when your Kundalini gets awakened, you suddenly start to have intuitive downloads, you're hearing or sensing the guidance, seeing the energies, knowing things instantly, like you have this, I know. But how do I know? I don't know, but I know. You start receiving messages during the meditations. And your nervous system now becomes like an antenna. It picks up the information because the information is all around us. It's not somewhere out there. And that's why I say channeling is nothing special, actually. It's nothing special. It's our neutral state. Every human is connected to the field. And I know also how many times some of you have said to me that they listen to my podcast and say, I felt you were talking to me, like it was me who was telling. And sometimes I pick it up from you because we are connected to the conscious field. And none of my podcasts, in a sense, are scripted. I don't think ahead. I come here, I tap into our conscious field, and there we go. But most of us are often blocked the mental noise, emotional turbulence, trauma, fear of surrender. Fear of surrender is one of the big ones. And disbelief of our inner voice. And so now when you regulate your nervous system and you open your heart and raise your frequency, you start naturally accessing more information in there. And we know about this, that when we are stepping into that truth, when we're connecting to this, it feels like it's so natural. So the field is around us. So now we're going to go into the timelines when we are talking about it. So how can I? And timeline shifts. When does it happen? So timeline shift, when we think about it, are instant. But now the physical reality takes time to catch up. So the first thing is to understand. So why I talk about it? Because we talk about it, jumping the timelines. And I tell you that sometimes you can feel how you jumped, like something in your system moved. You know that you have shifted timeline. But the first thing to understand is this. The timeline shift itself happens right now, right here. But the stabilization of the new timeline takes time. Meaning, so think of or imagine this a little bit like this, that you are a radio station. And you might decide, consciously or unconsciously, that you turn now into a different frequency. So the moment you turn the dial, the signal changes immediately. You don't have to wait. You don't have to earn it. It's instant. It happens right now, right here. That instant moment, that click, that emotional shift, inner opening, that is the timeline shift. And the song starts playing. The music is there, everything, the atmosphere starts to change, starts to shift. But that takes a little bit time to fill the space. Because your external reality is that music, and it comes after the shift. So yes, the shift is immediate. You press the button. But the physical world, such as your twin, your circumstances, your opportunities, your relationships, they need the time to reorganize according to this new vibration. So think of this a little bit like that, like I said about the music. For example, you like a lot of pop music right now. Let's say your favorite is Taylor Swift. You love Taylor Swift so much. And now all of a sudden, you shift that, you're listening to a Frank Sinatra. So it takes a little bit of time for your system that, I start seeing it. So now when you ask, but when it's going to manifest then in 3D if it takes time? Well, sometimes it takes seconds. That's why I say there is no limitation. Sometimes days, sometimes weeks. And sometimes, especially when it comes to a deeper identity shift, when it's about your core wounds or your nervous system, your past pattern, it can take months, the new timeline to fully stabilize of what it is. So now you would ask me, but how do I know? How do I know the timeline shift has actually happened? How can I tell a difference between a real shift and a wishful thinking? And I always say this, before you see the external change, you feel the internal one. And the real timeline shift begins inside of your emotional, energetic, and physical body before anything outside of your response. So let me just give you here a few examples, and these are very powerful examples. When you know that your timelines have changed, I've said to you, people come to you and give you compliments. Children will run up to you. Animals will come close to you. People will just see you and look at you. And then you feel emotional lightness. Let's say, yesterday you were very overwhelmed with an anxiety about the connection. Your mind was spiraling. Your heart was like, what's happening? And your nervous system was on fire. And you felt like everything is falling apart. But then suddenly you step into, let's say, a meditation, or you had a journaling, or you cried, you surrendered, you felt that's it. It doesn't matter anymore. And then you feel lighter, but you don't know why. Like nothing externally has changed. Your twin has not reached out to you. Nothing is there. The situation is all the same, but you feel all of a sudden, doesn't matter. Something is different, but you can't tell. And then you can find yourself thinking, well, actually, I am all right. I'm not so scared anymore. And that is the very first sign that timelines have shifted, because your emotions have changed. The way you respond to this have changed. And here comes again why we need to shift and change our nervous system. And at the moment, my way of understanding the best way of shifting the nervous system is through Kundalini activations and deep meditations and Kundalini yoga. I don't know right now if there is anything more powerful, might be in the future, but the shifts and changes I have seen are absolutely incredible. And then comes a different thing now. You start to see the same situation. I spoke about it, that what our soul who was here in the retreat. You start to see the same situation through a completely different perspective. So the next sign is that your perceptions changes instantly. For example, before the shift, you might be thinking, my twin is not reaching out to me because they don't care. Or the silence means that it's over. They don't talk to me, that's over, that's finished. But after the shift, suddenly your mind understands something deeper. You go like, oh, they are integrating. They're feeling the connection. The silence is healing. It's not an abandonment. It's not against me. We are connected, even if the 3D looks quiet. And you start to understand everything from a higher state of awareness. And you are starting to see the truth instead of fear. And that's the second confirmation. And that's what happened to our beautiful soul who was on the retreat. He came out of the activation and he said what a moment he had. And then one of another soul just made a little comment of saying, oh, your twin is so it's so sad that your twin cannot be with you here right now to feel that because you are so incredible. And his response was, no, but she's here. She's me. She knows that. She's connected to that. And I wish every one of you would have been on this moment in that room when the soul came forward and spoke the truth. And this is the power. I would say that not always on Twin Flame Journey, it is about the relationship. And I am not here to ever convince someone to say, oh, come to this retreat, come to this workshop, come to this and you'll have the relationship. No. I'm a believer that when you go deep within you and you find the magic within you and you connect to this, and thankfully your twin activated the Kundalini in you, you start to become a master manifestator. You start to feel the connection to the world, to the universe, and you co-creating this with the universe, and you don't work against the universe anymore. You are flowing what the universe is giving, and you are creating from there. And that's beautiful. If it means it's a relationship with your twin, wonderful. Maybe your twins came to your life just to activate you. That was your purpose. That's what you made together, and stop fighting against that. Maybe that was the reason. And maybe there is a reason as a relationship. But if the relationship is toxic, and I don't always ever say that twin flame relationships are toxic because it's a pure love, but sometimes with our wounds, our pain, we can hurt another person for no reason. Because we don't want to deal with that pain and we start hurting another one. Is that the relationship you want? At the cost of your alignment? Love is not where we sacrifice. Love is where we blossom. When people ask me, how can I be in that situation? Because I also brought my family over. Lily made her first debut, our spiritual baby. She met the woman who has, because we had Naomi coming as a surprise guest. She met the woman who helped her to come to this world. And it was interesting because Naomi didn't say much because she said, I respect her soul. But it was exactly before Lily didn't want to come to this world. She really had a conversation because Naomi did an activation for me. And she asked Naomi, is my mommy happy? Is the world joyful there? Is it safe to come? All of these questions. And you see how interesting it was that that's all we are actually also looking for here. Is it safe? Can I surrender? Can I feel that I will be guided? What a beautiful reflection. And people would ask me, how can I be in the situation where I am? And I tell you, the retreats make me so happy. Why? Because each one of the souls are just incredibly beautiful. And I have that honor to see that. It brings the tears to my eyes because God is good in that sense of making so-called twin flames, because the frequency, the energy is so beautiful. And what a God has given me the gift of experiencing this with all of you. And that's why when people ask me how I can be where I am, I say, for me, it doesn't matter who I am sharing something with. If it's my husband, if it's my twin, if it's you, I am there in love, in that moment, in that place. I am so blessed. Every time I wonder with my assistant, we sit down and say, how can I connect to so amazing people? And they are a mirror for me too, to see something. I really get lost here. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when you get to that inner union that I'm talking about, whoever you're going to share with this, it's going to be beautiful. I have no doubt in that. And I know soon I will be invited to many weddings. And whether it's with your twin or whether it's with your soulmate, whether it's with who you're supposed to have your lesson with. But don't forget to live and celebrate life. Don't overcomplicate it. Just listen what your soul is telling you. So the third sign is that your twin's energy responds to it. And that's also one of the powerful signs on this twin flame journey. Because twin flames, we are energetically entangled. And when one shifts the timeline, the other one feels it too, whether we like it or not. And when I say feels it, I don't mean it consciously. I mean it energetically. So your twin might suddenly think of you out of nowhere, feels that they need to message you, dream of you, becomes calmer, becomes more open, starts to feel your presence strongly. And even if they don't reach out to you, their energy changes. And you can feel the same way you feel it in you. So you start notice them in your dreams, in the telepathy, the energy between you. And this is not the imagination, this is physics. It is the quantum field responding. Again, I'm going to say, whether you believe me or not, and I'm not here to convince anybody. I have the last interest of convincing someone to say, oh, this is what it is. I always say, try on your own and see what happens. So often, normally after the timeline jump, and that's why I say, when you come on the first session with me, I look at your frequency. You often get your frequency, but I tell you, this, I see it. And then I will do the little exercise to see if you are on this journey and so on and so on. But when you have shifted your timeline, your frequency changes as well. You are the radio station that changes. That's why it's not set for you. If I tell you that your frequency is today 222, I tell you because your soul is asking to go into union and alignment. But maybe 5 months later, it's 212 or 717, like mine. There I am on a timeline right now, which is a 717, 777. So the synchronicity starts to multiply, and very quickly when you have done the timeline jump. The universe starts to give you information and confirmations that is aligned with a higher version of your path. People suddenly will tell you exactly what you needed to hear. Like all of a sudden a person walks up to you and says, "Hey, I think that's what it is." You start seeing, of course, the repeating numbers everywhere. Your dreams become very real. The song starts to speak to you. Like all of a sudden one song will come everywhere you go. And signs starts to become so clear that you almost laugh. You go like, of course. This is what I do nowadays. When I see something and I'm like, of course. And this is the universe saying to you, yes, stay on this timeline. There is something happening here. Stay on it. Another very big thing is that the old triggers will no longer affect you in the same way. And this is a very major one. Let's say a week ago or a month ago or something like this, your twin didn't reply you and your whole system would collapse. You would go like, oh my God, you would panic, you would overthink, you start going into the old stories, all of this. But now all of a sudden when they don't respond to you, you stay calm. You start feeling the connection instead of the fear. You start to feel love. Instead of abandonment, you feel, oh no, but they're here. And this is a very important part when you are on the twin flame journey. I know that sometimes our twin can really hurt us, meaning of choosing somebody else, not responding to you, telling to you, do not talk to me, whichever way, and it can be the pain over there. Remember, they are the mirror where you didn't choose yourself. I'm not going into that today. But I really would say one of the things don't do is going into, I don't love you, I don't want to be with you, I hate you, all of that. There can be that anger. But the more you're trying to use that separation, the more you're going to harm yourself. You need to look things through the lens of love. And that's also then you know where the old timeline has shifted. The one that matched the old version of you has collapsed. And you simply don't belong there anymore. And then another very, very important thing is that you start to receive new guidance. When you shift timelines, you turn into the new frequency of information in a quantum field, which means your intuition is opening up. You start to getting insights that were impossible before. They didn't make any sense, and now all of a sudden it's guiding you. You suddenly start to understand your connection, your purpose, your twin, your next steps. You no longer fight with that. You're realizing, wow, my twin came to my life for that reason. If it's a relationship, wonderful. I'm not here to say, when I talk about in a sense of that it is to go within, it never means that I tell you that you can't have a relationship. No, I don't say that. What I'm saying is, you are the one who co-creates that reality. And you start to have the sense of knowing that clarity doesn't come from the mind but from the soul. And you start to literally accessing the information of a higher timeline. You become the magic. And the final stage, of course, you can have it that your twin might say to you, send you a message. Many times when I have done channeling, the twins are reaching out. Why? Well, because they feel that you're tapping into that. They feel it whether they know or they don't know. They apologize, they open up, they start to show signs of awakening, baby steps towards you. Or in your life, things start to shift. And new opportunities, a breakthrough, you start feeling new flows, new people, everything starts to come. And that's, again, proof that something has changed. So how long does it happen until the external world shifts? And that depends on now many things. Your emotional consistency, your nervous system regulation. So far, I know that the deepest way of shifting your reality is through the Kundalini and inner dance. We need to reset the nervous system. If we don't shift the nervous system, the one that emits the frequency, it might take for a very long time. Your ability to stay in that new identity. How often you move back to the old frequency, because again, we move, and that's why we keep on repeating it. And how deeply it is integrated into your body. So just remember this. You don't see the new timelines because you shifted. You see the new timelines because you remained in this shifted state. So it's not a one-time moment. It is a maintaining that frequency. And that's why I talk about it. Why to go within, whether you are doing this with deep meditation, breath work, Kundalini activation, Reiki, yoga. We have so many ways, and believe me, it doesn't take a long time. It doesn't. Sometimes you need 10, 15 minutes, and you're going back to this. So, and why I talk about it, and even for me, I do all of these things that I'm giving it to you. Might not resonate with you at all, and you feel that's an absolute garbage. But then if you don't really see the shift of your journey, maybe try and see what happens. So the timeline shift is not a moment of magic, it's a moment of alignment. You know you have shifted not because suddenly everything becomes perfect. It's because you become a different person. You respond differently, you perceive differently, you feel differently, you vibrate differently, you see love differently. And that's a very, very important part. So trust the signs you're receiving. Trust what it is there. That what happened to you of meeting your twin. Yes, you can have a relationship. But go within and become that magnet of manifestation. And then you start to realize, wow, I had my twin all the time. Why did I even feel that they weren't here? I know, for me it's very easy to say that because I have experienced that. But I also know after our 4th retreat that you all have these powers. You all can do that. And you might not even need me. But I love connecting with you, if I'm totally honest. So that's why it's such a pleasure when you come down to the retreats, when you come to the workshops, when you come to the calls to connect, and I can see your growth. Honestly, one of the biggest gratitude when I wake up in the morning and I go to bed is when I have seen you shift and you're living from the alignment. I don't want to talk about it today because I want this to be a little surprise for you in December. But that's the moment where I say, I want to give to the world as much as I can give. Because it's like an expansion. Me seeing you, speaking your truth, connecting to you, feeling the love, being you. And then we can expand that to the next one and next one and next one. That's beautiful. And that's why when I invite and I say, I see that you can go deeper. I see that you have that potential. Then that's where I would like you to join. But you come whenever you're ready. So now let me find I know some of you might want to hear about the retreat, but we had this Cyprus retreat here now for 5 days. So as I said, our retreat began with an enormous thunderstorm above us. I shared that on Instagram. You could see how powerful it was. The Mother Nature was really with us of saying, this group is incredible. And just to say, yes, in Cyprus we have sometimes earthquakes. But as strong as it was on that day, hasn't been for a long time. So then the Mother Earth also shake this of giving us a sign that that was powerful. Your souls are very, very powerful. And we were very lucky. During the retreat, the weather was absolutely stunning. You will see this in after movie as well, in a sense of what we will put together a little bit without obviously the participants who were there. What was my highlight, and I already mentioned that, was of seeing these two souls of coming from the last year to this year and their growth, because that made me to realize I know that every person who attended this time in a year or maybe in 6 months will be very, very far away. They will open their heart, they will open their soul, they will live from their alignment. And however it's going to manifest, they will not lose out of this journey. And that was also the message I received from that participant, saying, you were right. You will never lose out of this journey. Another beautiful thing that I really found, we had 2 men this time. I really like when men comes forward because it holds the balance of female and masculine energies. We do see things from the different perspective. We experience the world differently. For Bali, we have no men, but hopefully for Italy, maybe some men will join and sign up. The truth is that this retreat group already, who was just here, they were like, I think 80% were like, when the Italy retreat is coming out, we're gonna come. So it looks like soon we have more of the reunions, because Bali retreat will be also mixed of Costa Rica and mixed of Cyprus previous, and then new souls from New Zealand, United States, and Australia, and Austria as well. So we have a bit of an old and a new comes together. That's going to be very interesting. What was beautiful about, the person was also mentioning that there was less of desperation or less of this. I would say, yes, they were advanced group and they were able to go very, very deep. So that's why I know that the magic they're gonna do from now on, just watch out for that. They were beautiful in every ways. I still have so much love and gratitude in my heart, because I don't know how I can be so blessed of having beautiful people. And then we had Naomi joining at the end for the session. She will be on the next podcast, just to say, those who would like to hear about her. And she came to do a light language and she connected. And like I said, universe had everything planned already. I had such an honor to connect, to feel it. I still will a little bit take time to reflect on it. So yes, that was our Cyprus retreat, beyond beautiful, honestly. And the team we had this time was also so supportive. So ending it from over here, I said you would see some of the after movies, some of the things, just to bring you the energy as well. To say now, Italy retreat will be announced in January. So if you are on a waiting list that you can do on a twinflameawakeningjourney.com, you will receive the offer. Then we will, and like I said, my retreats are about helping you to become a higher self and inner union. They're all about showing you how powerful you are, what you can co-create, what you can become. I always try to make them as affordable as possible. If I would be totally honest, I would do it for free. But unfortunately, the houses, the food, things, they cost in this world. And we need to cover these costs. But it's just, when we were at the retreat as well, and somebody said, oh my God, you look so happy. I said, yeah, because I can do this every day. But luckily I get to do this somehow every day with you, those who come to the calls, those who are ready to step into their inner union, into their alignment. Same with our group sessions. So the next group session is on Sunday of, 23rd of November. We have our next session, and it is about receiving. We will be doing the kriyas for receiving, for the mind, to help you to receive. It's so important. Christmas is coming. It's time for you to receive your Christmas gift. So we'll be doing that. And then we'll have in December, you get to choose what kind of workshop was your favorite that you would like to redo it. So this is gonna happen. Very exciting. And any of you who feel that I want to tap into this, I want to see where I am at on my journey, how to connect, how I can hear my truth, all of this, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. You have a way of booking there, connecting with me, however, and you can just connect energetically as well. So thank you for listening. Thank you for all of the love you have given to me and to the people around here. And all of my retreat listeners who are here, make sure you're going to go and spread that light and love and knowing that you are incredible. Lots of love and lots of light.
Thought it'd be golden, crossing the line and don't look back. Think I was broken, I needed some time to clear my head. 'Cause I've made all the mistakes and I've dealt with the heartbreaks, but I think that I found my way. 'Cause I've been sinking like a stone, Carolina, take me home. Nothing's ever really broken, I won't let you go. 'Cause I'm finding my way right back to you. I'll find my way back to you. I see a river floating its way out to the sea. I can remember carving our names onto that tree. And I just wanna see you, 'cause you will never know just how much I've been missing home. 'Cause I've been sinking like a stone, Carolina, take me home. Nothing's ever really broken, I won't let you go. 'Cause I'm finding my way right back to you. Yeah, I'll find my way back to you. I think that I'm finding my way right back to you. Yeah, I think that I'm finding my way. Thought it'd be golden, crossing the line and don't look